Beyond the dome we call the sky, there is another world. There lived the great chief of the up above world and his people, the celestial beings.
I have survived many seasons. In that upper world, there were many things of which men today know nothing.
Our world floats like a great cloud on a journey,
Where the great chief wishes it to go.
The crust of that world was not thick, but none of these beings knew what was under the crust. In the center of that world there grew a great tree which bore flowers and fruits, and all the people lived from the fruits of the tree and were satisfied.
The tree's light is wondrous.
Its perfume fills the air.
We are all connected here.
Let us breathe it together.
Tree bore a great blossom at its top, luminous and lighting the world above. Wonderful perfume filled the air which the people breathed.
We are one with the spirit.
The rarest perfume of all was that which resembled the smoke of sacred tobacco, greatly loved by the great chief. It grew from the leaves that sprouted from the roots of the tree.
The leaves are ready.
Then let the incense rise. The roots of the tree were white and ran in 4 directions. Far through the earth they ran, giving firm support to the tree. Around this tree the people gathered daily, for here the great chief had his lodge where he dwelt.
Now, in a dream the great chief was given a desire to take as his wife a certain maiden who was very fine to look upon. "You are the one from my dream."
I am yours.
And to his surprise, she was with child.
You carry a child not of my blood.
This child is a gift from the spirits. You have shamed our family. I will protect this child with my life.
You deceived me. The child is not mine.
I love this child conceived in a sacred embrace.
This child is of noble blood?
Yes.
A dream commands the celestial tree be uprooted.
The spirits have spoken, it must be uprooted.
Then let it be so.
Uproot the sacred tree, it will be our trial.
We must. It is divine will.
Then let us go to the tree.
I wish to know what lies beneath.
Her through the anger of Ancient One against her. Truly you have spoken. Now my mind shall be satisfied. And the woman, his wife, saw that there was trouble ahead for the sky world, but she too found pleasure in the uprooting of the tree, wishing to know what was beneath it. And now my mind shall be satisfied. Yet did she know that to uproot the tree meant disaster for her, through the anger of Ancient One against her.
The anger against me?
Mother, pull! Uproot this tree!
Calamity threatens. No one can avert it.
Your words weaken us, Laganchi.
The spirits warn us. Heed me.
But the woman loved the child, which had been conceived by the potent breath of her lover, the great chief, when he had embraced her. It is her, his wife, who is customarily called Iagenchi.
I am your wife Awenhai, of the noblest family. It is I who is customarily called Iagenchi.
You have deceived me!
Then did the chief himself embraced the tree and with a mighty effort uprooted it, throwing it far away. His effort was tremendous, and in uprooting the tree he shook down fruits and leaves.
Look his mighty chief.
Wife, come. The spirits call us to the sacred hole.
Yes, my chief, I am ready.
Look into the hole. See the truth.
It is beautiful. Our destiny is clear.
Together we are one. Wife, you too must see the hole.
I am ready, my chief.
Look into the roots. The ancestors speak.
I see them. They are with us.
Again, my anger returns against you. Into the hole with you.
No, the spirits!
Be rid of her. Again, your defiance. Into the pit with you.
You cannot silence me.
What is this power?
The spirits awaken. The earth gives us what we need.
You gather with strong hands.
These will guide our path.
Indigenous legends, folklore, and fairy tales. How the world began. And Turtle Island. Beyond the dome we call the sky, there is another world. There in the most ancient of times was a fair country where lived the great chief of the up above world and his people, the celestial beings. This chief had a wife who was very aged in body, having survived many seasons. In that upper world, there were many things of which men of today know nothing. This world floated like a great cloud and journeyed where the great chief wished it to go. The crust of that world was not thick, but none of these men beings knew what was under the crust. In the center of that world there grew a great tree which bore flowers and fruits, and all the people lived from the fruits of the tree and were satisfied. Now, moreover, the tree bore a great blossom at its top, and it was luminous and lighted the world above, and wonderful perfume filled the air which the people breathed. The rarest perfume of all was that which resembled the smoke of sacred tobacco, and this was the incense greatly loved by the great chief. It grew from the leaves that sprouted from the roots of the tree. The roots of the tree were white and ran in 4 directions. Far through the earth they ran, giving firm support to the tree. Around this tree the people gathered daily, for here the great chief had his lodge where he dwelt. Now, in a dream, the great chief was given a desire to take as his wife a certain maiden who was very fine to look upon. So he took her as his wife, for when he had embraced her, he found her most pleasing. When he had eaten the marriage bread, he took her to his lodge, and to his surprise found that she was with child. This caused him great anger, and he felt himself deceived. But the woman loved the child, which had been conceived by the potent breath of her lover, the great chief, when he had embraced her. He was greatly distressed, for his fine wife Awenhai was of the noblest family. It is her, his wife, who is customarily called Iagensi. He, the Ancient One, fell into a troubled sleep, and a dream commanded him to have the celestial tree uprooted as a punishment to his wife and as a relief of his troubled spirit. So on the next day he announced to his wife that he had a dream and could not be satisfied until it had been divined. Thereupon she discovered his word, and it was that the tree should be uprooted. "Truly you have spoken," said Ancient One, "and now my mind shall be satisfied." And the woman, his wife, saw that there was trouble ahead for the sky world, but she too found pleasure in the uprooting of the tree, wishing to know what was beneath it. Yet did she know that to uproot the tree meant disaster for her through the anger of Ancient One against her. It so happened that the chief called all his people together, and they endeavored to uproot the tree, it being deep-rooted and firm. Then did the chief grow even more angry, for his wife, Agensi, had cried out that calamity threatened and nobody would avert it. Then did the chief himself embrace the tree, and with a mighty effort uprooted it, throwing it far away. His effort was tremendous, and in uprooting the tree he shook down fruits and leaves. Thereafter he went into his lodge and entered into the apartment where his wife Agensi lay moaning that she too must be satisfied by a look into the hole. So the chief led her to the hole made by uprooting the tree. He caused her to seat herself on the edge of the hole where the tree was uprooted and peer downward. Again his anger returned against her, for she said nothing to indicate that she had been satisfied. Long she sat looking into the hole until the chief, enraged, drew her blanket over her head and pushed her with his foot, seeking to thrust her into the hole and be rid of her. As he pushed her into the hole where the tree had been uprooted, she grasped the earth at her side and gathered in her fingers all manner of seeds that had fallen from the shaken tree. In her right hand she held the leaves of the plant that smelled like burning tobacco, for it grew from a root that had been broken off. Again the chief pushed the woman, whose curiosity had caused the destruction of the greatest blessing of the up-above world. It was a mighty push, and despite her hold upon the plant and upon the ground, she fell into the hole. Now this hole had penetrated the crust of the upper world, and when his wife Iagensi fell, she went far down out of sight, and the chief could not see her in the depths of the darkness below. As she fell, she beheld a beast that emitted fire from its head, whom she called Gasiondieta, Gahashondito. It is said that as she passed by him, he took out a small pot, a corn mortar, a pestle, a marrow bone, and an ear of corn, and presented them to her, saying, "Because thou hast thus done, thou shalt eat by these things, for there is nothing below, and all who eat shall see me once, and it will be the last." Now it is difficult to know how this fire beast can be seen, for he is of the color of the wind, and is of the color of anything that surrounds it. Hovering over the troubled waters below were other creatures, some like and some unlike those that were created afterward. It is said by the old people that in those times lived the spirit of Gaha and of Sagadiowin, Gawa, of Hanon and of Dia the Sundaiko, the wind, the defending face, the thunder, and the heavy night. There were also what seemed to be ducks upon the water, and these also saw the descending figure. The creature beings knew that a new body was coming to them, and that here below there was no abiding place for her. They took counsel together and sought to devise a way to provide for her. It was agreed that the duck creatures should receive her on their interknit wings and lower her gently to the surface below. The great turtle from the underworld was to arise and make his broad back a resting place. It was as has been agreed, and the woman came down upon the floating island. Then did the creatures seek to make a world for the woman, and one by one they dove to the bottom of the water, seeking to find earth to plant upon the turtle's back. A duck dived, but went so far that it breathed the water and came up dead. A pickerel went down and came back dead. Many creatures sought to find the bottom of the water, but could not. At last the creature called Muskrat made the attempt, and only succeeded in touching the bottom with his nose. But this was sufficient, for he was enabled to smear it upon the shell, and the earth immediately grew, and as the earth's substance increased, so did the size of the turtle. After a time the woman, who lay prone, aroused herself and released what was in her hands, dropping many seeds into the folds of her garment. Likewise she spread out the earth from the heaven world which she had grasped, and thus caused the seeds to spring into germination as they dropped from her dress. The root of the tree which she had grasped she sunk into the soil where she had fallen, and this too began to grow until it formed a tree with all manner of fruits and flowers, and bore a luminous orb at its top by which the new world became illuminated. Now in due season the Sky Woman lay beneath the tree, and to her a daughter was born. She was then happy, for she had a companion. Rapidly the girl child grew until very soon she could run about. It was then the custom of Ancient One to say, "My daughter, run about the island and return telling me what you have seen." Day by day the girl ran around the island, and each time it became larger, making her trips longer and longer. She observed that the earth was carpeted with grass, and that shrubs and trees were springing up everywhere. This she reported to her mother, who sat beneath the centrally situated great tree. In one part of the island there was a tree on which grew a long vine, and upon this vine the girl was accustomed to swing for amusement, and her body moved to and fro, giving her great delight. Then did her mother say, "My daughter, you laugh as if being embraced by a lover. Have you seen a man?" "I have seen no one but you, my mother," answered the girl. "But when I swing I know someone is close to me, and I feel my body embraced as if with strong arms. I feel thrilled, and I tingle, which causes me to laugh." Then did the Sky Woman look sad, and she said, "My daughter, I know not now what will befall us. You are married to Gaha, and he will be the father of your children. There will be 2 boys." In due season the voices of 2 boys were heard speaking. Dagon, and the words of one were kind, and he gave no trouble, but the words of the other were harsh, and he desired to kill his mother. His skin was covered with warts and boils, and he was inclined to cause great pain. When the 2 boys were born, Elder One made his mother happy, but when Warty One was born, he pierced her through the armpit and stood upon her dead body. So did the mother perish, and because of this the Sky Woman wept. The boys required little care, but instantly became able to care for themselves. After the mother's body had been arranged for burial, the Sky Woman saw the Elder One, whom she called Good Mind, approach, and he said, "Grandmother, I wish to help you prepare the grave." So he helped his grandmother, who continually wept, and deposited the body of his mother in a grave. Thereupon did the grandmother speak to her daughter. "O my daughter," she said, "you have departed and made the first path to the world from which I came, bringing your life. When you reach that homeland, make ready to receive many beings from this place below, for I think the path will be trodden by many." Good Mind watched at the grave of his mother and watered the earth above it until the grass grew. He continued to watch until he saw strange buds coming out of the ground. Where the feet were, the earth sprouted with a plant that became the string potato. and then in down we, where her fingers lay sprang the beans, where her abdomen lay sprang the squash, where her breast lay sprang the corn plant, and from the spot above her forehead sprang the tobacco plant. Now the warty one was named Evil Mind, and he neglected his mother's grave and spent his time tearing up the land and seeking to do evil. When the grandmother saw the plant springing from the grave of her daughter and cared for by Good Mind, she was thankful and said, "By these things we shall hereafter live, and they shall be cooked in pots with fire, and the corn shall be your milk and sustain you. You shall make the corn grow in hills like breasts, for from the corn shall flow our living." Then the grandmother, the sky woman, took good mind about the island and instructed him how to produce plants and trees. So he spoke to the earth and said, "Let a willow here come forth," and it came. In a like manner he made the oak, the chestnut, the beech, the hemlock, the spruce, the pine, the maple, the buttonball, the tulip, the elm, and many other trees that should become useful. With a jealous stomach the Evil Mind followed behind and sought to destroy the good things, but could not. So he spoke to the earth and said, "Briars come forth," and they came forth. Likewise he created poisonous plants and thorns upon bushes. Upon a certain occasion Good Mind made inquiries of his grandmother, asking where his father dwelt. Then did the sky woman say, "You shall now seek your father. He lives to the uttermost east, and you shall go to the far eastern end of the island and go over the water until you behold a mountain rising from the sea. You shall walk up the mountain, and there you will find your father seated upon the top." Good Mind made the pilgrimage and came to the mountain. At the foot of the mountain he looked upward and called, "My father, where art thou?" And a great voice sounded the word, "A son of mine shall cast the cliff from the mountain's edge to the summit of this peak." Good Mind grasped the cliff and with a mighty effort flung it to the mountain top. Again he cried, "My father, where art thou?" The answer came, "A son of mine shall swim the cataract from the pool below to the top." Good Mind leaped into the falls and swam upward to the top where the water poured over. He stood there and cried again, "My father, where art thou?" The voice answered, "A son of mine shall wrestle with the wind." So, there at the edge of a terrifying precipice, Good Mind grappled with Wind, and the two wrestled, each endeavoring to throw the other over. It was a terrible battle, and Wind tore great rocks from the mountainside and lashed the water below, but Good Mind overcame Wind, and he departed moaning in defeat. Once more Good Mind called, "My father, where art thou?" In awesome tones the voice replied, "A son of mine shall endure the flame," and immediately a flame sprang out of the mountain's side and enveloped Good Mind. It blinded him and tortured him with its cruel heat, but he threw aside its entwining arms and ran to the mountain top, where he beheld a being sitting in the midst of a blaze of light. "I am thy father," said the voice. "Thou art my son." "I have come to receive power," said the son. "I wish to rule all things on the earth." "You have power," answered the father. "You have conquered. I give to you the bags of life, the containers of living creatures that will bless the earth." Thus did the father and son counsel together, and the son learned many things that he should do. He learned how to avoid the attractive path that descended to the place of the cave where Hanishanan dwells. "Now," the father said, "how did you come to find me, seeing I am secluded by many elements?" The Good Mind answered, "When I was about to stop my journey, Sky Woman, my grandmother gave me a flute, and I blew upon it, making music. Now, when the music ceased, the flute spoke to me, saying, 'This way shalt thou go.' And I continued to make music, and the voice of the flute spoke to me." Then did the father say, "Make music by the flute and listen. Then shalt thou continue to know the right direction. In course of time, Good Mind went down the mountain, and he waded the sea, taking with him the bags with which he had been presented. As he drew near the shore, he became curious to know what was within, and he pinched one bag, hoping to feel its contents. He felt a movement inside which increased until it became violent. The bag began to roll about on his back until he could scarcely hold it, and a portion of the mouth of the bag slipped from his hand. Immediately the things inside began to jump out and fall into the water with a great splash, and they were water animals of different kinds. The other bag began to roll around on his back, but he held on tightly until he could do so no more, when a portion of the mouth slipped, and out flew many kinds of birds, some flying seaward and others inland toward the trees. Then, as before, the third bag began to roll about, but he held on very tight, but it slipped and fell into the water, and many kinds of swimming creatures rushed forth, fishes, crabs, and eels. The fourth bag then began to roll about, but he held on until he reached the land, when he threw it down, and out rushed all the good land animals of kinds he did not know. From the bird bag had come good insects, and from the fish bag had also come little turtles and clams. When Good Mind came to his grandmother beneath the tree, she asked what he had brought, for she heard music in the trees and saw creatures scampering about. Thereupon Good Mind related what had happened, and Sky Woman said, "We must now call all the animals and discover their names, and moreover we must so treat them that they will have fat." So then she spoke, "Cavity be in the ground and be filled with oil." The pool of oil came, for Sky Woman had the power of creating what she desired. Good Mind then caught the animals one by one and brought them to his grandmother. She took a large furry animal and cast it into the pool, and it swam very slowly across, licking up much oil. "This animal shall hereafter be known as Niegwai, bear, and you shall be very fat." Next came another animal with much fur, and it swam across and licked up the oil, and it was named Dejiagon, buffalo. So in turn were named the elk, the moose, the badger, the woodchuck, and the raccoon, and all received much fat. Then came the beaver, Nanganiagon, the porcupine, and the skunk. Now Good Mind wished the deer to enter, but it was shy and bounded away, whereupon he took a small arrow and pierced its front leg, his aim being good. Then the deer came and swam across the pool, and oil entered the wound and healed it. This oil of the deer's leg is a medicine for wounds to this day, and if the eyes are anointed with it, one may shoot straight. Again other animals came, and one by one they were named weasel, mink, otter, fisher, panther, lynx, wildcat, fox, wolf, big wolf, squirrel, chipmunk, mole, and many others. And many animals that were not desired plunged into the pool of oil, and these Good Mind seized as they came out, and he stripped them of their fat and pulled out their bodies long. So he did to the otter, fisher, weasel, and mink. So he did to the panther, wolf, big wolf, and fox, the lynx, and the wildcat. Of these the fat to this day is not good tasting. But after a time Evil Mind secured a bag of creatures from the road to the cave and unloosed it, and evil things crawled into the pool and grew fat. So did the rattlesnake and great bugs and loathly worms. Thus did Evil Mind secure many evil monsters and insects, and he enticed good animals into his traps, and perverted them and gave them appetites for men beings. He was delighted to see how fierce he could make the animals, and set them to quarreling. He roamed about visiting the streams of pure water made by Good Mind, and filling them with mud and slime, and he kicked rocks in the rivers and creeks to make passage difficult, and he planted nettles and thorns in the paths. Thus did he do to cause annoyance. Now Good Mind sat with his grandmother beneath the tree of light, and he spoke to her of the world and how he might improve it. "Alas," said she, "I believe that only one more task awaits me, and then I shall go upon my path and follow your mother back to the world beyond the sky. It remains for me to call into being certain lights in the blackness above, where heavy night presides." So saying, she threw the contents of a bag into the sky, and it quickly became sprinkled with stars. And thus there came into being constellations Hadikwada, And of these we see the bear chase, the dancing brothers, the seated woman, the beaver skin, the belt, and many others. Now it seems that Good Mind knew that there should be a luminous orb, and so it is said, he took his mother's face and flung it skyward and made the sun, and took his mother's breast and flinging it into the sky made the moon. So it is said. But there are other accounts of the creation of these lights. It is said that the first beings made them by going into the sky. Shortly after the creation of the stars, Gaji Sanda, the grandmother, said unto Good Mind, I believe that the time has come when I should depart, for nearly all is finished here. There is a road for my feet, and I have a song which I shall sing, by which I shall know the path. There is one more matter that troubles me, for I see that your brother is jealous and will seek to kill you. Use great care that you overcome him, and when you have done so, confine him in the cave and send with him the evil spirit beasts, lest they injure man. When morning came, the Sky Woman had departed, and her journey was toward the sky world. Good Mind felt lonely and believed that his own mission was about at end. He had been in conflict with his brother Evil Mind, and had sought, moreover, to overcome and to teach the whirlwind and wind and the fire beast. Soon Evil Mind came proposing a hunting trip, and Good Mind went with him on the journey. When they had gone a certain distance, the Evil Mind said, My elder brother, I perceive that you are about to call forth men beings who shall live on the island that we here have inhabited. I propose to afflict them with disease and to make life difficult, for this is not their world but mine, and I shall do as I please to spoil it. Then did Good Mind answer and say, Verily, I am about to make man beings who shall live here when I depart, for I am going to follow the road skyward made first by my mother. This is good news, answered Evil Mind. I propose that you then reveal unto me the word that has power over your life, that I may possess it and have power when you are gone. Good Mind now saw that his brother wished to destroy him, and so he said, It may happen that you will employ the cattail flag, whose sharp leaves will pierce me. Good Mind then lay down and slumbered, but soon was awakened by Evil Mind, who was lashing him with cattail flags and yelling loudly, Thou shalt die! Good Mind arose and asked his brother what he meant by lashing him, and he answered, I was seeking to awaken you from a dream, for you were speaking. So, soon again the brother Evil Mind asked, My brother, I wish to know the word that has power over you. And Good Mind, perceiving his intention, answered, It may be that deer horns will have power over me. They are sharp and hard. Soon Good Mind slept again, and was awakened by Evil Mind beating him with deer horns, seeking to destroy him. They rushed inland to the foot of the tree and fought each other about it. Evil Mind was very fierce and rushed at his brother, thrusting the horns at him and trying to pierce his chest, his face, or tear his abdomen. Finally, Good Mind disarmed him, saying, Look what you have done to the tree where Ancient One was wont to care for us, and whose branches have supplied us with food. See how you have torn this tree and stripped it of its valuable products. This tree was designed to support the life of men beings, and now you have injured it. I must banish you to the region of the great cave, and you shall have the name of Destroyer. So saying, he used his good power to overcome Evil Mind's Otgaunt, evil power, and thrust him into the mouth of the cave, and with him all manner of enchanted beasts. There he placed the white buffalo, the poison beaver, the poison otter, snakes, and many bewitched things that were spiritually corrupted, monstrous, filled with harmful supernatural power. So there to this day abides Evil Mind seeking to emerge, and his voice is heard giving orders. Then Good Mind went back to the tree and soon saw a being walking about. He walked over to the place where the being was pacing to and fro. He saw that it was Sagodi Wanga, who was a giant with a grotesque face. I am master of the earth, roared this being, called also Great Defender, for he was the whirlwind. If you are master, said Good Mind. Prove your power. Defender said, what shall be our test? Let this be the test, said Good Mind, that the mountain yonder shall approach us at your bidding. So Defender spoke, saying, Mountain, come hither. And they turned their backs that they might not see it coming until it stood at their backs. Soon they turned about again, and the mountain had not moved. So now I shall command, said Good Mind, and he spoke, saying, Mountain, come hither. And they turned their backs. There was a rushing of air, and Defender turned to see what was behind him and fell against the onrushing mountain, and it bent his nose and twisted his mouth, and from this he never recovered. Then did Defender say, I do now acknowledge you to be master. Command me, and I will obey. Since you love to wander, said Good Mind, it shall be your duty to move about over the earth and stir up things. You shall abandon your evil intentions and seek to overcome your outgaunt nature, changing it to be of benefit to man beings whom I am about to create. Then, said Defender, shall man beings offer incense tobacco to me and make a song that is pleasing to me, and they shall carve my likeness from the substance of trees, and my orenda will enter the likeness of my face, and it shall be a help to men beings, and they shall use the face as I shall direct. Then shall all the diseases that I may cause depart, and I shall be satisfied. Again Good Mind wandered, being melancholy. Looking up, he saw another being approaching. I am Thunder, said the being. What can you do to be a help to me? Asked Good Mind. I can wash the earth and make drink for the trees and grass, said Thunder. What can you do to be a benefit to the men beings I am about to create? Asked Good Mind. I shall slay evil monsters when they escape from the underworld, said Thunder. I shall have scouts who will notify me, and I shall shoot all outgaunt beings. Then was Good Mind satisfied, and he pulled up a tree and saw the water fill the cavity where the roots had been. Long he gazed into the water until he saw a reflection of his own image. Like unto that will I make men beings, he thought. So then he took clay and molded it into small images of men and women. These he placed on the ground, and when they were dry he spoke to them, and they sprang up and lived. When he saw them, he said unto them, All this world I give unto you. It is from me that you shall say you are descended, and you are the children of the firstborn of earth, and you shall say that you are the flesh of Iayan, she the ancient bodied one. When he had acquainted them with the other first beings, and shown them how to hunt and fish and to eat of the fruits of the land, he told them that they should seek to live together as friends and brothers, and that they should treat each other well. He told them how to give incense of tobacco, for Awen Ha'a, ancient bodied one, had stripped the heaven world of tobacco when she fell, and thus its incense should be a pleasing one, into which men beings might speak their words when addressing him hereafter. These and many other things did he tell them. Soon he vanished from the sight of created men beings, and he took all the first beings with him upon the sky road. Soon men beings began to increase, and they covered the earth, and from them we are descended. Many things have happened since those days, so much that all can never be told.